Hello guys, welcome to another video. I'm back at it again. I know it's been like a few good months ever since I posted, and I've come back here and I've been to introduce you to a prison life tier list, right? Of ways to escape prison life in 2026, right? This is the new update version since the game got updated recently. It's made a lot of patches to it, and this is like the most recent version of it, okay? Alrighty, let's get started. The knife, right? This involves grabbing a knife and just trying to stab trying to stab a cop, right? Got puts at a good what do we put this at? D tier, right? Not only does the knife do kind of mid damage, right? It does a lot of damage, kind of. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if you missed one stab, that kind of decides the whole fight, right? You miss one stab, you're kind of done for. You know what I mean? And even if you do land the stab, you're not gonna win against the guy with the gun, right? I don't recommend it. It's very high risk, high reward. And if you do pull it off, and another cop sees you, well, you're kind of toast, bro. Like, you're not getting out of that situation alive, unless you're like some type of John Wick or some shit. But yeah, you're not getting out of that situation alive. Very high risk, high reward. I don't recommend the knife. So yeah, the hammer. Hammer involves going into the cell, right? Whichever cell it may be. I believe it can only be on the first floor. Yeah, the first floor of the cell, prison block, right? And just mashing the shit out of the toilet. So I'm gonna put that a good. I suppose that high D tier. Why? Well, the hammer it is pretty loud, right? It makes a lot of noise when you hit the toilet. And the new update, they added a little sound that when you're hitting the toilet, it produces a sound, right? And some guards are actually vigilant and they're gonna like hear it and they're gonna come in there and just start shooting you or arresting you. Very high risk, high reward thing to do, and I really don't recommend it, right? You could do it if you like. Only time I recommend it is when there's a riot going on, right? When the cops are just out there just getting busy and stuff. You go, you get the hammer, do your thing, and get out of there, right? Cops are too distracted to really pay attention to what you're doing. They're not gonna hear you because of the gunshots, but again, I don't recommend this all the time. This is only like during like what? Yeah, I don't recommend it all the time. I don't. Rushing into the armory room. So this is basically what 99%, not 99%, but what like 95% of the prison life players do. They just camp in front of the armory door waiting for a cop to come on and they just rush in there. I'd put this at I put this at a good high D tier list, right? Why? Because when you're going in there, right, to grab a gun, many things can happen. You get tased, you can get arrested, you can get shot in the head, right? You can get shot. Anything can happen, really. Rushing into the armory room is really high risk, high reward. I don't recommend it unless you're like in like pure desperation to get out. Like every cell is like, every block is being guarded, every door is being guarded. That's the only time I really recommend rushing to the armory room like a maniac and just start spraying the whole place up. And again, that's even if you make it, right? That's if you make it, which 80% of the time you're not really gonna make it, and if you do make it, you're gonna be shot to death, right? Because if you do manage to kill all the cops in the room, they're gonna respawn. They respawn right there, and unless you manage to pick up a key card and just make a run for it, and just do the dash, it's kind of the only time you're gonna get out of there. So yeah, I don't really recommend it unless you're in really high desperation. And the only reason it goes on high D tier list is because, again, there's guns in here, right? There's utility way more useful than the hammer and the knife, right? You can't compare a gun to a hammer and a knife. So it's the only reason it goes up to high D tier list. I don't recommend it unless it's really high desperation. Every door is being guarded, everything is being guarded, the prison is 100% safe. That's the only time I recommend you go in here. The M9. Okay, so you kill a guard, you pick up his pistol, start spraying people like John Wick. But it's that mid D tier list. It's pretty mid. The M9 does not inflict that much damage. That's one. The reload time on it, oh my gosh, it's not even get started on that. The reload time on the M9 is pretty decent, but it's just like the damage per fire rate. It's not good, bro. It's not really good. I think I remember a few times I emptied a whole clip on a cop and he was still walking to me. I'm just like, I just gave up at that point. You know what I mean? I don't really recommend it. I don't recommend doing this. This is very high risk, mid reward, right? Other guards are gonna hear the gunshots. If you do manage to kill one guard and he doesn't drop a key card, which gets really infuriating and frustrating, and another cop comes and tases you and you're kind of done for, right? I don't really recommend this. I don't recommend picking an M9 and just spraying the shit out of people. Again, unless there's a riot, then okay, go ahead, bro. Do your thing. Do your thing. Cross your fingers. I hope you can make it out. That's the only time I'd pick up an M9 that's laying on the floor. The door. So, cops come out the door. They go in and outdoors, right? A cop goes in, you make a run for it. This would be C tier because, right, when you're running and a cop comes in, you make a dash for it. This is actually a very 50-50, right? They know they can't kill you because you're not armed. You're running. If they do kill you, they're going to get a warning. There is some cops out there that are going to kill you. Don't get me wrong. They're just going to spray the shit out of you and they don't even care. But then most of the time, they don't really do that. Based on my experiences, they don't really spray you because they know they can't. They're going to get a warning for it because you're unarmed, right? And it's a very high risk. But, again, high reward, right? That's basically what the game's all about. High risk, high reward type of thing. And that's why it's so exciting. And I recommend this. This is actually safer than this, and that. Because you're just running out, you know? Unless he manages to hit you with the taser early on. And I think you're good, you know? You're going to make it through the door. You're going to go through the side. You're going to be free. Reset. And you're on a criminal scene, bro. You're free. Being nice. I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, if I be nice to the cops, then they'll release me, right? Yeah, bro, I'm sorry to say no. That's not the case. Okay. I'm going to place that at a low D tier list. Not an F, though. Why? Because there are cops out there that are actually pretty friendly, bro. You can sit there, have a chat with them, and they're just going to be like, oh, bro, you want to get out? And you just get the fuck out of there, and you just run out of there, right? That is pretty rare. It's a pretty rare case, pretty rare scenario, because half of the cops are there just to just for the kill feeling, not gonna lie. Half of them not even there to protect the prison itself. They're just there for the kill feeling, right? The PvP, right? There are good cops out there. They're going to release you, right? That is pretty rare though, which is why I put it at a D tier. Being nice is actually not gonna get you very far, especially in a game that's all about survival. Yeah, but it's not gonna get you very far, but it works. Don't get me wrong, it works, but very rarely. So which is why it's at a low D tier list. Asking a criminal to break you out. Now the reason I chose this image right here, right, the specific image from The Dark Knight, is because, like the Joker said, you can't trust anybody, right? Now the reference I'm making here is you're a prisoner, and you know some criminals actually kill prisoners. If you didn't know that in prison life, they actually kill you, bro. They do it for the fun of it. Half of the criminals are not even there to release the prisoners themselves, which kind of makes me laugh, right? And you can't really trust criminals, bro. You can't trust them at all. But it is more if half of them, they're just gonna fucking ignore you, bro. So we're gonna put that at a low D tier list because, right, they're half of them just gonna ignore you. They're just gonna be like, oh, bro, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know you. Or half of them are just gonna be like, they're not even gonna chat back at all. They're just gonna keep doing their little thing of killing, and yeah, right. There are criminals out there that play the game for the purpose to release other criminals, but at the same time, everybody plays the game for the PvP and not really for what the game was meant to be, right? Which, you know, it's the game, you know, it's prison life, survival game. It's all about survival. Let's see what we got here. Punching. All right. F tier. Automatically F tier. This has got to be like the worst way to try to escape, bro. First of all, not only is the punching in the game terrible, right? Oh my god. And I'm not even gonna start it. The punching in the game, the punching mechanics and the physics in the prison life game, it is horrible. Like, you can try to punch somebody and they're running away from you and you're chasing them, right? And they just, none of the punches are gonna hit. I don't know what it is, if like the punching has like a bad compatibility with the hitbox. I don't really know what it is. And not only that, even if you do land punches, it's not gonna hit hard. Trust me. Like, it doesn't. It barely does any damage. It won't do any damage at all. It's gonna do like little tiny marks of damage over time, which is effective. But unless you find a cop that's AFK, which is rare, of course, it serves no purpose, right? Punching is only really for like if you want to toy around with the cops, you want to get them mad, which I do that sometimes as well. When I'm just like trolling and stuff, I just go around punching cops and they chase me and they just kill me or arrest me. But that's the only time I ever do that. Punching is very useless. I don't recommend it at all, right? If anything, playing it smart is better than trying to play it aggressive and just go around punching people all over the place. I don't really recommend you do this. The damage on it is very low, and by the time you do land the punch, bro, just trust me, bro. That cop is you're gonna get shot. Like, by the time you land the punch, you're already dead on the ground. Rioting. B tier. Rioting is B tier because it causes a lot of chaos. It makes the cops go. It makes them it puts them under pressure, right? When cops are under pressure, they don't think clearly. Oh, everything's all over the place. Oh my gosh, everything's shitty, right? They don't think clearly, right? Everybody's just doing their own little thing. And rioting, I recommend it. I recommend you riot actually a lot, because not only does it increase your chances of escaping, but it also increases your chances of getting more weapons, right? The more cops you kill, the more loot they drop, and that moves you closer to escaping, right? So rioting, B tier, very risky though, but again, you have strength in numbers, right? So I recommend you riot. Shift lock glitching. Okay, so for those that don't know what a shift lock glitching is, right? It's basically this little movement, like this little dance that they do. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm gonna pull up a video. It's basically like this movement they do, right? And you do like a little E dance, correct? When you do the E dance, you click shift lock in a specific manner, and it basically phases you through the gate or through the wall or whatever, maybe the door. I don't really know. But due to the recent update, I don't recommend it. I'm gonna put it at a good C. Why? Only because it's safe, right? It's like the safest, like, it's gotta be, let me see, like, yeah, it's like the safest, like, besides being nice, of course, it's like the safest way, right, to escape the prison itself. You just walk up to the gate, do a little emote, shift lock dance, shift lock in a specific manner, zoom your screen in. I don't really know how it's done, but due to the recent update and patch, Aesthetical did a little update where he kind of patched it, right? I haven't seen it that much. I've seen some players do it, but it's like often, like, it's not often anymore. It's very rare. And to those that still know how to do it, they find new glitches in the game and the system and stuff, and they kind of pull it off. I don't really know how to do it. I've tried it many times and I've never pulled it off. I really don't know how to do it, but I mean, it's pretty good, for escaping. If you want to do it, you can go right ahead and do it. It's kind of the safest way to escape the prison itself, right? You're not fighting anybody, you're not killing anybody, you're just kind of phasing through a wall and running. So it's pretty safe, Exploiting. I know you guys are gonna hate me for this, but don't, because I hate exploiters. I do not condone exploiting. I hate exploiters with a passion. Okay, I really hate them with my heart. S tier. So exploiting, right? It's not. It's very good, right, to escape, but then again, it's high risk, low reward. And the reason I say low reward is because, what is the purpose of actually trying to escape if you're if you're hacking, right? You have no like high. Well, that's not really the enjoyment of the game. You're not gonna enjoy the game like that. The game serves no purpose if you're just gonna exploit to escape, right? It serves no purpose. High risk because your ass is probably gonna get banned the next day, bro. Roblox moderation nowadays has been on people's asses just for saying the little tiniest words, right? You can't even say the word. I'm not even gonna say the word, bro, because like I might get canceled. You know how it is. 2026. You can't even call somebody. What's the word, bro? How do I say this in the nicest way possible? You can't even say like chubby to anybody, bro. Like whatever word is similar to the word chubby, like a different variation of it, you can't even say it, bro. Right? And I don't really recommend it. I don't recommend it at all. Roblox moderation has been on people's asses, bro. You know, high risk, low reward. There's no fucking point in exploiting just to escape. Very low reward. That beats the whole purpose of the game. Alting. What I mean by alting is basically going on another account, joining the cop team, and releasing yourself. S tier. This is like a strategy that I came up with in my head, right? And it's hella effective, bro. Like unless it's, like when there's no riots, of course, because if there's riots, you know your other account's gonna get killed constantly, and it's kind of like not gonna let you escape. But besides that, bro, it's hella effective, man. I always do it. I do it every time. Way safer than exploiting, of course. Like you can't get banned for this. There's literally no rule against this. Like no rule, unless Aesthetical decides to like make your account be a certain age, like old days old, right? Like the hood does. Then that's pretty much the only way. But besides that, nah, bro, you'll be fine. You know, do it as much as possible. Abuse this as much as possible, right? And you'll be good, bro. Trust me, you won't get banned. This is not bannable. 100% safe, 100% legal in the game. And yeah, bro, just do your thing. Abuse this while it's out. This is a strategy I came up with in my head. Cafeteria event. So cafeteria event, I put it at a mid C tier list. Why? So basically, the cafeteria event, it's actually a pretty safe escape route, but what makes it at the C tier list is like the access to it, right? It's pretty hard to get in there, bro. Like no cop really goes in and out of the cafeteria, right? No cop goes in and out of the cafeteria, right? It's only ever like not so often you see that. You don't really see that often, right? And if you do make it, then that's really good because you can go through the vent and then hop on the wires and just escape that way. You can do that, bro. And you'll be safe. Unless some cop decides to chase your ass, then you know it's a pretty safe route. It's like the safest route I have in my head right now, actually. But yeah, only reason it's at a mid-tier tier is because it's actually like hard to access the room. It's very hard to access the room. So yeah, it's the only reason why it's there. Let's see, crooked cop. So basically, this involves you going up to a cop and just begging them to release you, right? Or not begging, but asking. It could be whatever, you know. I'd put this at. It seems safer than this, of course, because you can't really trust the criminal. But then again, yeah, I put this at like a low D tier list because most of the cops are not even gonna pay attention to you, bro. They're gonna ignore you. Half of them are gonna say no. Half of them are gonna release you, and then when you're turned around, they're gonna tase you and arrest you. And then, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of chaos, bro. Like, it's like rare you see that. You don't really see that often. You just go up to a cop and say, "Can I get out?" and they just let you get out. You don't really see that often, right? That's pretty rare. You don't really see it often. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for the end of the video, guys. If you guys have any other questions, you guys can DM me, or you guys can comment down below, ask me any questions, any suggestions, anything like that. Just let me know down below. that is the tier list for Prison Life 2026 newest update. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you around, guys.